Hello and welcome to another tutorial. I'm Mr. Muhammed and this is Oxford Complete Mathematics Unit 7.1 page 240. In this set of exercise we are going to use gradient to find out the missing numbers. Okay, question 29. Find the value of A is missing if the line joining the points 3A and 4 with a negative 3 has a gradient of 1. Then we just follow the rule. Gradient is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We can consider this point as x2 and y2 and this point as x1 and y1. Then the gradient is like this. 4 minus negative 3, 4 minus negative 3, and then 3a minus a. This is equal to 4 minus negative 3 will be 4 plus 3, it's 7, and 3a minus a is equal to 2a. This 7 over 2a is the gradient, and it's given in the question that the gradient is equal to 1. Then this result is equal to 1. 7 divided by which number will be 1? So in other words, we can say we can do cross multiples. Then 7 times 1 is equal to 1 times 2a. 1 times 2a is equal to 7. How can we get rid of this 2? Divide both sides by 2. Then we will have a is equal to 7 divided 2 is 3.5. The value of a is 3.5. Question 29, done. Now, question 30. Question 30, A. Write down the gradient of the line joining the points 2mn and 3, negative 4. Let's just find the gradient using the ordinary way. Let's consider these as x2, y2 and this one as x1, y1. Then we will have something like this. N minus negative 4, n minus negative 4 over 2m. Since these are variables, they are letters, it's better to consider them as x2, y2 because we don't see negative n or negative 2m. It looks easier, otherwise it gives the exact same result. Then 2m minus 3. We can just simplify it with this. N minus minus 4 is n plus 4 over 2m minus 3. Okay, then this is the gradient, n plus 4 over 2m minus 3. Then part B, find the value of n if the line is parallel to x-axis. If we have an xy axis, a simple one here, this is a simple xy axis. Okay, what is the property of any line which is parallel to x-axis? This line is parallel to x-axis, so its equation is y equals 2. Look, y is equal to 2. Then when this line is parallel to x-axis, it means the gradient of this red line is 0. Remember this, when any line is parallel to x-axis, or in other words, the gradient of any horizontal line is 0. So how can we make this gradient 0? Because the question says find the value of n if the line is parallel to x-axis. This red line is parallel to x-axis. This is x-axis and this is y-axis. The gradient of this line which is parallel to x-axis is 0. The gradient of any line if it's parallel to x-axis is 0. It means this gradient that we found, n plus 4 over 2m minus 3 must be equal to 0. Then when does this equal 0? If n be equal to negative 4, because negative 4 plus 4 will be 0, and 0 divided by anything will stay 0. That's why we don't care about the denominator when the result of a fraction is equal to 0. Then this is the answer. The value of n is negative 4, because negative 4 plus 4 is equal to 0, and 0 divided by anything stays as 0. Done. Part C, find the value of m if the line is parallel to y-axis. Then when the line is horizontal, the gradient is 0. What if the line be vertical? If the line be vertical, the gradient is infinity. This is a vertical line. This line is parallel to y-axis. Then this is y-axis, this is the line. They are parallel. Okay. In this vertical line, the value of x doesn't change. Here, the value of x is 3, because here it's 3. In this point is negative, it's 3, negative 3. This point is 3, negative 1. This point is, the value of x is 3, y is also 3. This point, the value of x is 3, y is 4. What's special about all of these points on this vertical line? When you look at them, the value of x doesn't change in all of them. So it means when you find the gradient, in the denominator we will have x2 minus x1, which is 3 minus 3. We will have something like this. N plus 4, which is the top, over 0. Why 0? Because the question says for part C, the line is vertical. It means the denominator of the line must be 0. That's why whenever you divide any number by 0, the answer is infinity. Then the question is, find the value of m. Which value of m can make 2m minus 3 to be equal to 0? Then 2m must be equal to 3. From this, if we send this 3 to the other side, we will have 2m is equal to 3. 2m is equal to 3. What about just 1m? Divide 3 by 2. So m is equal to 1.5. Remember this. The gradient of any horizontal line, gradient is 0. And for any vertical line, gradient is infinity. And the reason, because in vertical line the value of x doesn't change, we will have zeros in the denominator. And for horizontal line, the value of y doesn't change, so it means we will have 0 on the top of the fraction. So whenever you see a fraction, while the top number, the numerator, is 0, it means the final result of the fraction is 0. Now question 31. Question 31. Draw a pair of x and y axes and plot the points A, B. Find the length of the line. This is a very good question. Finding the length of the line. How can we find the length of a line between any two points on xy axis? Then let's draw xy axis. Okay, this is enough. Now let's plot these points. The first point is here, 1 and 2, and the second point is 7, 6. Let's plot them. 1 and 2, 1 in x is here, 2 in y is right here. This is the first point, this is A. And point B is 7 in x, 6 in y. 7 in x, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 6 in y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this is point B. If we join these 2 points together, we see a straight line like this, and the question wants the length of this line. How can we find this? Then to do this, here is an easy way. We're going to use Pythagoras rule. Pythagoras helps us to find the length of any line between 2 points. Why we use Pythagoras rule? How can we use it? We use it because we have a 90-degree angle here. So we have a right angle triangle. Do we know these two lengths? Of course we know. This length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. So we consider it as 6 centimeters. And this length from here to there is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this length is 4 centimeters. Since we know the length of the other two sides, easily we can get the length of line AB. Pythagoras works like this. Let's name line AB as x. It's easier to write AB squared. We simply write x squared is equal to 4 squared plus 6 squared. 4 squared is equal to 16. 6 squared is equal to 36. So 4 squared plus 6 squared is equal to 52. So x squared is equal to 52. But do we need x squared? No, we just need x. The length of AB is x, as we named here. How can we get rid of this power 2? By taking square root. Then square root of 52 is equal to 7.211. The question says give your answer correct to one decimal place. To one decimal place, the second decimal place is 1, so it will be simply just removed. The answer is 7.2 as the question wants. And the length of line AB is 7.2. And part C, find the coordinates of the midpoint. How can we find midpoint? Then to find the length, we always use Pythagoras. To find gradient, we always say y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 if we are dealing with points. And to find midpoint, we're going to add the coordinates together, then divide by 2. To find midpoint, we add x with x. For midpoint, we add them and divide by 2. Here, 1 plus 7 over 2 is the coordinate of the x. It's the x coordinate for the point which is halfway between A and B. And the y is 2 plus 6 over 2. To find midpoint means halfway, we always add the x's together and the y's together of the points and then divide each result by 2. And let's simplify this. 1 plus 7 is 8, divide by 2 is 4. 2 plus 6 is 8, divide by 2 is 4. So 4, 4 is the midpoint. Here is 4 in x line, 1, 2, 3, 4 in y line. So this is the midpoint. Even in the graph, you can see it's the midpoint. This is midpoint, and the coordinate of midpoint is 4, 4. Question 32. On a graph, plot the points P, Q, and R. Determine whether or not the triangle PQR is isosceles. Find the coordinates of the midpoints for PR. Okay, we need an XY axis. The largest number here is 8, so an 8 by 8 XY axis is enough for this question. An 8 by 8 XY axis. Now it's 8 by 8. It's enough for question 32. Firstly, we have to plot this points. Here is the first one. Point P is 1, 4. 1 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is point P, 1, 4. Q is 4, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4 in X is here. 8 in Y is here. So this is Q. R is 5, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. 5, 1 is right here, and this is point R. Now let's join them to see the triangle. This is the triangle. Part B, determine whether or not the triangle PQR is isosceles. We need to find the length of this line, the length of this side. These two sides, they look like they have the same length, because definitely this side is longer than these two sides. Then let's find the length of these two sides. How can we find the length of these two sides? Since we have an xy axis, whenever you needed to find the length of a side, you can draw two more sides to have a 90-degree angle with the side you want to find the length. Now, I can say to find the length of the side, I need to extend these two lines here. And since it's on an xy axis, I can find the length of these two new lines that I just drew. This length, according to the xy axis, this length is 1, 2, it's 3 squares. And this length is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is a triangle 3 by 4. I want to find the length of PQ. Then the calculation is like this: PQ squared, or you can just name the side and write it here. PQ squared is equal to 3 squared plus 4 squared. Okay. The question doesn't say find the length. It just says, is it isosceles? So let's keep this as it is to save time. PQ squared is equal to 3 squared plus 4 squared. And let's do the same thing for PR. For PR, we are going to add two straight lines. So this is the first line, because we must make a straight line here to have a 90-degree angle, and then join this to point P. Now we have a 90-degree angle between points P and R. This is a 90-degree angle. Okay, how long is this? 3 was for the first triangle. How long is this line? This line is 4, and this line is 3. Again, we see 4, 3. So PR square is equal to 4 square plus 3 square. So it means the length of PQ, which is 4 square plus 3 square, is exactly the same as the length of PR, which is 4 square plus 3 square. When two sides are equal in length for any triangle, it means this triangle is isosceles. Now we showed that triangle PQR is an isosceles triangle. And since the question didn't want the length of side PQ and side PR, we didn't spend time to calculate these and find square roots of them. No, but we see that they are exactly the same. Determine whether or not, so it is yes, it's isosceles, because we know PQ, this side is the same length as this side, PR. Find the coordinates of the midpoint of PR. We need to find the midpoint of PR. Then point P is here and point R is here. Finding midpoint is easy. We add the x's together. So 1 plus 5 over 2. This is the first entry of the midpoint. And y's together. 1 plus 5 was for the x's. And for the y's, we will have 4 plus 1 over 2. 1 plus 5 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. One plus 5 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. 4 plus 1 is 5, divided by 2 is 2.5. The coordinate of the midpoint is 3, 2.5. Done. 3, 2.5. 3 next is here. 2.5 on y. So this point is the midpoint between P and R. Comment below whatever question you have. Feel free to ask questions. Then this is the end of the tutorial. Thank you for watching.